Hey, you just caught me in the middle of editing another Great Racer Cinema Productions video. Well, hello again. Welcome to the second part of Gaming Horrors in the Dimension of Spookiness, where we take a look at the sequel to BloodRayne 2. BloodRayne, known as BloodRayne 2. I gotta fix the lighting. There. Yeah. The crew members haven't really been able to flick the switches in these areas, especially the rec room. They do it because, well, they leave the switches off because they think it's too spooky. Anyways, this is the second BloodRayne game in the series. As you can see, we don't have the game inside, but it's in the PS2 itself. Yeah. And sometimes the guys in the rec room leave it in there. Alright, so BloodRayne was a pretty successful game for Terminal Reality, and this wouldn't actually be a surprise. It had a unique concept, and it was like the love child of Devil May Cry and Tomb Raider. It's like if you mash the two games together and BAM! You got one cup of awesome. And they also made a success with a survival horror game called Nocturne before that, which is a survival horror game involving FMVs and was released in the late 90s. So yeah, I forgot to mention that in the previous video. Yeah, Terminal Reality knows how to bring up the scary dial up to 11. And they definitely did with BloodRayne 2. Alright, so we get the manual of the game itself, as well as a poster for a Jaws the game on the back. Isn't that ironic? Yeah, a horror-themed game that's promoting a game based off of a horror movie with a shark. Well, it's kind of a horror movie, but it's really tame by today's standards. Yeah, that's kind of ironic. I like to play a Jaws Unleashed. Well, I haven't played it yet, but you get to play as the shark itself. Yeah, it's definitely a game that Shark Puppet would play, and he would play it and he would say, "Yeah!" while eating easy cheese. Yeah. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, alright? We're going to talk about BloodRayne 2. This, as I said before, is the sequel to BloodRayne. And this is where the series halted for a while, as I'll explain later. And of course, unlike the previous game, this game was never released on macOS. I believe it only had a PC version as well as the PS2 and Xbox versions. So yeah. It didn't get released on the Mac this time. And of course, 2004 was also the year when EA of Japan published the original BloodRayne game. It was an attempt to make a BloodRayne popular in Japan since it became popular in the Western Hemisphere. And of course, this game does have some interesting quirks, like the trailer to BloodRayne, the movie, which we'll talk about later. And of course, well, some rather cool additions. Yeah, it's definitely an improvement over the first game. It improves in several areas. And it's actually the better BloodRayne game. Alright, so let's sink our teeth into some gaming excellence with BloodRayne. Ooh, man, so spooky. Yeah, even the Terminal Reality logo has got some spookiness going on. Yeah, there's the spooky logos. Yeah, and there's the loading screen with one of the bosses. Here we are. BloodRayne 2, powered by the spooky Infernal engine. Alright, so let's talk about what features this game has, because it has an interesting list of features. You have New Game, which obviously starts a new game and is the story mode to the game itself. Load Game, which loads game. Options menu, which of course you can change the controls. But interestingly, you can set the camera and display. Yeah, it has some camera controls, and of course well, there's the audio features, basically audio. Yeah, there's display. You can even set the brightness, put on the subtitles, and even has a widescreen feature. I've never seen that many games with that feature. Yeah, I suppose in the PC version this would be for the graphics settings, which does make sense. Yeah, I think this game has a PC version. And of course, we've got the extras. Yeah, this game does have an extras menu. Yeah, you can enter cheats. You can choose the level, have a rewatch cutscenes, watch slideshows, and watch the credits. Yeah, there's different cheat codes, and of course, interestingly enough, you can even have Rayne herself dress up in different outfits, which is cool, and replay the past levels. Yeah, there's the movies itself, and there's the BloodRayne movie trailer. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next video. We'll give it a mention in the next video, because that movie is infamous. And you're about to find out why. Yeesh. Yeah, slideshows. Yeah, and pretty much a lot of these features are locked. Yeah, and you could watch the credits just in case if you don't feel like beating the game to watch them. So yeah, it has a lot going on, and the replay level feature is kind of similar to a Ghostbusters, the game, where you can replay past sections. Yeah, it's another Terminal Reality game. Alright, so those are the game's features. Yeah, they're pretty interesting, and I think this game has a lot more going for it than the previous game does. Alright, let's start the game. We're into the game's story mode. And here's
You've been quiet tonight.
BloodRayne's, Rayne's
got me
partner
here to
this
help.
time. It's a guy
I'm
instead
not
of
worried,
the
Saren, and I don't need your help. Or the Brimstone Society.
BDSM vampire named
good thing I'm fun to have around then.
Yes.
Yeah, and she is wearing the dress.
I expect a number of horrible deaths tonight.
Oh, and
I'm
I have to
guessing
tell you
that
something.
dress will cause a
The
few.
dress that Rayne herself is wearing, well, that only shows up in the first section of the level. In the second level, she goes back to wearing her usual attire.
My God,
So
look
yeah,
at that.
Good night.
it does have a Brain herself wearing different outfits.
Jesus, Bill sees her, and I'll be on my
Yeah,
back
it
for
shows
the
a lot
rest
of
the weekend.
Okay,
well,
mics are working fine.
cleavage,
I'm gonna
but
check out the upper floors.
she's a Damir. Yeah, that's how you
Pardon
pronounce it,
me,
by the
Mayor
way. She's a
Gulliver.
Damir, half
I'll return in just a
vampire.
moment.
What do you expect from vampires?
Very
They
clever.
like to dress
You look thirsty,
seductively
Chief.
because they're
Why don't you hail a
freaking
passing scotch?
vampires.
Hello.
Yeah. I
Adalia
kind of
is
question the clothing
and
choices of
I
vampires, but they're vampires.
me well.
So yeah, the plot of the game
It kills
revolves
me to ask,
around a
Have we met?
Darling, I'm sure
Rain
you
herself,
But you have no drink.
becoming
Heads
partners
will roll. I've brought
with
the
this
case
guy, and
love
of course,
this evening.
her
Please,
trying to kill off the
something
offspring of
strong.
Kagan.
I never drink.
Yeah, Kagan is the main villain of the
Meet me
game,
at the
and of
stairs,
course,
If you can tear
plot
yourself
twist,
away, darling.
he's working for the
Nice turnout.
Nazis!
City council,
Yeah,
captains
was
of industry,
working for
high
the
rollers,
Nazis.
mob bosses.
Who
Everyone's
would've
here but the
thought?
crown heads of Europe.
They're
That
shooting up in
Rain's
the bathroom
father
with a couple of sultans.
is a Nazi.
You find anything?
Anyways,
Nose round
let's
a bit
go on to the
upstairs.
game.
Looks like our host Zarinsky, darling, is a member of your extended family. A brother, likely.
Half brother, like I'm half vampire. Never forget that.
Yeah, well, that's still all bad news for him. There's one room in particular upstairs, locked tight, very high security.
You didn't break in.
You're interrupting. A lot of Zarinsky's staff are wearing the sigil. The vampire overlord Kagan may be long dead, but his cult is still at large.
Like Brimstone suspected. And that makes Zarensky their grand wizard. Sick bastard.
Whatever's behind that door upstairs is probably very educational.
This might be fun after all. I'll take a look. You have something for me? Hello, angels. I missed you.
Not your style, Rain, but you'll want to be a little cautious, okay? Oh, that's real nice. Both hands on the stair rail, please.
Alright, so here we go. Yeah, as you can tell, we're playing as the titular monster hunting half vampire creature known as Rain. Yeah, this is basically a training section to get used to the controls of the game. Yeah, and of course, this time around, well, you can actually control the camera. The camera control is actually really fluid and really smooth like Super Mario 64. Granted, you can't move up and down, but it's not really needed in this game. Yeah, we got our titular list of attacks. Yeah, you can use the blades and, well, kick enemies. Yeah, the arm swords you can use to take out, say, enemies. Well, that's what I like to call them because they're swords on arms. Yeah, it would just cause some property destruction. Hopefully Zarensky himself will have enough money to pay
Area's
the
off
bills
limits to
or
guests, lady.
I'm no guest.
have a run-in with the police about it. I don't know how it works. Oh, we got our first enemies. Yeah. Nice.
I'm
Just like
horrible.
Rain would. Yeah, I know she's wearing the dress because she has to go to the, well, she's at the ballroom, but it's not very likely you see anyone fighting in a dress. Oh, and like in the previous game, you can suck the blood of enemies. And of course, you will be doing this a lot more in BloodRayne 2 due to how hard the game can become. Yeah, this game is by no means easy. It is harder than the previous game in the series, and you can lock onto enemies. Well, you won't be needing to do this for combat sections, melee combat, but you'll be needing to do this for the shooting sections, as locking onto enemies is important for those. And we'll get to that in a moment. So yeah, you can attack enemies like usual, and of course, just in case the camera gets in the way, move the camera. The camera is your friend here.
Stray. Can I keep her?
So yeah, just because it's better than the previous game doesn't mean it's gonna be any easier. And yes, it is actually an honest improvement over the previous game. It improves on the previous game in a lot of areas. Yeah. It's an almost perfect game. But it is hard. Yeah, and of course, the enemies will drain a lot of your health, so you will be needing to replenish your health by sucking the blood of enemies a lot more. So yeah, it's hard. And you can even use the L2 button to cycle targets, and this will be a different button configuration on the Xbox version. Yeah.
Not supposed to be in here, lady.
Oh man, there's Zarensky's minions. Not those yellow dudes.
Shut up.
But
May I escort you back to the
his
party?
henchmen, Zarensky's henchmen. And like in the previous game, you can harpoon enemies.
Get in here. And that.
And of course, you can even perform fatalities. We'll get to those in a moment. Yeah, it actually does improve over the previous game, and
I need help over here.
Rain gets to wear different outfits. And of course, it's got a lot of blood and gore for all you gore hounds out here.
Lucky shot, bitch.
Yeah, it's still got the good old hack and slash arm sword combat. That's a feature is retained. And of course, it does make good use of it. Yeah, just damn near. Yeah, just watch out for the damn near.
Won't help, but it might make me feel
She
better.
will. But only to those who are the bad guys. Yeah. Very nice game.
She plays too rough.
Alright, let's talk about the shooter sections. Because, well, those are up next. There's our first boss. Yeah, before we talk about, the shooter sections, we're going to talk about
Did you even see
Rayne's
that coming?
powers. And yes, Rayne has various powers. Yeah, she could use a blood rage to increase her offense and defense, meaning that it'll increase her attacks and her defense. And yeah, this boss is hard. Strategy is pretty much thrown out the window here. You just have to hope you land enough hits to take him out.
Low.
Yeah, that was me restarting the level. Yeah. You can try to avoid his attacks, but they're really hard to avoid. Yeah, it's not a good... I mean, there's not a good strategy to use. You just have to hope you land enough hits for him to go down. And keep in mind, this is the first boss. Who, in the right minds, makes the first boss that difficult? Majesco, I suppose. Oh wait, Terminal Reality, I suppose. Majesco's just the publisher of the game. Terminal Reality is the guys who developed it. Yeah, the downside of Rayne's powers is that he uses the
Feeding time.
blue meter known as a rage. Yeah, he's
Alright,
down.
thanks for the lesson.
Although
bitch.
we had to have a lot of fun. Yeah, we acquired a new power. So yeah, those are her powers. Oh, and you can also use powers to look for vampire portals, and those are, well, those function as the checkpoints. And yeah, here are the acrobatic sections. Yeah, these take a while to get used to. Oh, and the shooter sections, well, your weapon is the Carpathian dragons.
I'm a couple of
Well, your weapons are the Carpathian dragons, and of course, you need to feed off of enemies just to reload them. So yeah, it takes away the weapons variety that the previous game has, because previous game has you like holding all sorts of weapons, but that's gone here, as your main weapons are the Carpathian dragons, which are thought to be legendary weapons, according to the game's lore. So yeah, the acrobatic sections, as I said before, take time to get used to, but you will be needing to do them a lot. Alright, let's see if we can find another acrobatic section to prove my point.
Just outside the ballroom. I'm fine, just keeping clear.
Yeah, we can go down on the rail. We can shoot while grinding, or do melee attacks while grinding. This is actually pretty exciting. There we go. But you have to hope you hit the enemies while doing it and use the lock-on feature. Alright, so let's move on to the next area. Try to find acrobatic sections to prove my points. So yeah, they traded weapons variety for the acrobatic sections, which
Looks
one
like
of
we
the,
got a
the earliest examples of the game to use these kind of sections, as you would see them a lot in newer games. Especially the Lego games, where they have characters swinging off of ropes. But like I said, they're hard to get used to, and yeah, we're gonna go up to an area with these acrobatic sections to prove my points. Alright, so yeah, it does retain the same linear design as the previous games do, but at least this game does have more exploration and you can choose your paths, unlike the previous game. So that's kind of cool. You can do that. Yeah, some enemies will have guns, but unlike the previous game, you can't pick them up and use them. Although I'm not entirely sure, as I haven't played the game far enough to find out if the Carpathian dragons are the only weapons that you can use in the game or not. Alright. We cleared the room of the enemies. Now let's go back to the outside. Yeah.
I think Zarensky just blew his membership
There's
at the country club.
the guy
Behaving badly?
who's the partner.
It's how he was raised.
Who's
See
our
for
partner,
yourself.
and his name is
I believe it's time to do what you do.
Severin, by the way.
Meet you later.
So yeah, Severin tells us where to go next. And where to find clues. Yeah, Severin is our main partner instead of
Oh, come on,
Vince,
Z.
like
I'm the
in
black sheep.
previous
The one
game.
nobody talks about. I'm on a world tour visiting every bastard child of Kagan I can find.
Ah, so.
Oh
you're
man,
the
there's
mysterious assassin.
Zarinsky,
Well, you've certainly been on a.
the evil baddie that
We
holds
weren't even
this
sure
party.
you were real until poor Delinda showed up without her
Yeah, I
head.
assume that
The one in the
he
West
just made it
Indies
as a
with the
mousetrap
snakes? She
for
gave me your name.
vampires
Didn't
to
want
feed off of the
Very
blood of
loyal.
humans.
Hardly.
That's
None
what
of
I'm
them
guessing.
are. You intrigued me, but I fear
Or
I must
maybe that's
attend to
mouse
other
trap
events. So I
to
bid you good night,
transform
little sister.
vampires.
Please,
I mean humans into
make yourself at
vampires.
home.
Yeah. This is the vampire's mousetrap.
All right, playtime's over.
There's our second boss of the game, Zarensky. And of course he does send out bats.
A
This
night to remember for
boss
all
actually does have
times.
some
A
strategy.
prelude
You
to
can't
the
just
longest
say
night. It's time to fly, my children.
attack
The
him right
family
away. You have to
awaits
find him,
our
and he does
coming!
send out
You're
hordes
right
of enemies.
about one thing. It's
So
definitely
unlike
time
the
for
previous
you to go.
But
boss,
you're my
this
guest.
does have
It would be
strategy, and you have to
unforgivable
use
to leave
your
you this way.
powers to find him. So yeah, your powers do come in handy here. You could also use Blood Rage to prevent any knockdowns here. Although you won't be using it as much as
Where's my backup?
the Aura Vision. Alright, so certain areas have you swinging on poles. And of course, the acrobatic sections are hard to get used to, and the strategy here is basically, well, jump to the next pull and let go of the controller. And then they swing to the next area and do the same. Why? Because, well, sometimes Rayne just jumps off of the poles themselves, which, yeah, can get annoying, but it's, well, it's a part you'll be doing a lot.
Somebody get in here!
So to speak. So yeah, the acrobatic sections are
I'm out of
hard to get used to, and they have a learning curve, but they do have a specific strategy you can use to get past them much faster. So yeah, BloodRayne 2, yeah, it's not perfect, but it is way better than the previous game. The combat's improved, camera controls are improved, and of course, it's just an overall better game than the previous game. And Rayne also wears different outfits, so yeah, it's almost perfect.
I need help over here!
What holds it back is the lack of weapons variety and the acrobatic sections, unfortunately. Otherwise, this is a really great game, and I highly recommend any BloodRayne fans try it out and sink their teeth into. This is a game that will literally want to make you suck your blood, or, well, eat some Count Chocula cereal while eating it. Because, well, Count Chocula tastes better than blood. It's chocolate cereal.
Yeah, kinda stinks,
Yeah,
huh?
so it's a must-own for any BloodRayne fan. Alright, let's move on to the conclusion. Yeah, this is a computer cabinet area that looks a lot like the computer lab in my own dimension. But anyways, BloodRayne 2 is actually the better BloodRayne game in my opinion, and it improves in a lot of areas. Firstly, it improves the most important aspect, the camera control. You can actually move the camera wherever you want. Granted, you don't get to move up and down, but it's not really needed in a BloodRayne though, as you hardly want to look up and down. And also has some improved combat mechanics as well. The kills feel more satisfying, and of course, the difficulty is ramped up. Yeah, this game is actually harder. Just because it's going to be better than the previous doesn't mean it's going to be any easier. And you will be needing to suck your blood. I mean, suck your enemy's blood a lot more. The negatives are, well, there are a few negatives in this game. Firstly, the weapons variety is smaller compared to the last game. In the last game, you can control a lot of rifles and shotguns and pistols, but in this game, you can only control the Carpathian dragons, although they are cool pistols, but not as much weapon variety compared to the last game. Although I haven't really played it far enough to find out if there are any more weapons in the game, like a Remington shotgun or an AR-15 or a Desert Eagles or an RPG. So yeah, not as much weapon variety, and of course, the acrobatic sections are kind of hard to get used to, since while it's cool that they add it, you also have to have a different strategy when you whenever you swing onto the poles. You have to let go of the controller if you want to go to the next pole, and of course you need to do this a lot. Yeah, I know this is probably one of the first games to have these sections. Not sure if Tomb Raider games have them, but I don't say no. But this is one of the first for me at least. Yeah, definitely one of the earliest examples of acrobatic sections in video games, and these would be shown a lot. Yeah, they would be shown a lot in the later games. The pole swinging, of course, well, kind of hard to get used to, and it does unfortunately prevent it from making an otherwise perfect BloodRayne game. Although, they traded weapons variety for wearing different outfits in the game itself. The ballroom outfit is only shown once in the entire game. After that, BloodRayne wears her usual vampire attire, but you can change into those outfits just in case if you don't like the previous one. Yeah, it gives you several options to explore, and of course, I kind of wish that other games would do this. Well, some other games I know of. Yeah, giving you the option for the main characters to wear different outfits is definitely great. And I believe Batman Begins on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube also did this. Had different Batman costumes. And Batman Arkham Knight also did this. Well, the Batman Arkham games, but Arkham Knight, I think, had like different costumes, and it's always cool. And different character costumes are common in fighting games. But in adventure games, not so much. I kind of wish we had Lara Croft wearing different costumes in the Tomb Raider games. And I kind of wished in Danganronpa games they would give you the option to change the different characters' attire and customize it. Well, there are some 3D games out there that desperately need the character customization. I've seen some 3D games, but I haven't played the games myself, but they don't have the characters wear different clothing. If they did that, I would definitely be interested in playing the game, along with having, well, you know. Having to decide between story paths and having a character creator feature. yeah, the character creator features in Mortal Kombat. The character creator feature in Mortal Kombat Armageddon was excellent, although the caps were overpowered and were rather uncompetitive and couldn't be allowed to play online, which is probably why they ditched it. Yeah, you can have a lot of fun with the different outfits, and I do like games where you can switch different outfits on the characters. It gives it variety that the first BloodRayne game sorely missed. And yeah, excellent. BloodRayne 2 gets a 9 out of 10. It's a huge, substantial improvement over the last game. Combat's improved, controls are improved, and definitely gives you the option to have Rain wear different outfits. But it's not perfect, as there are some things bad about it, but for BloodRayne fans, this is definitely a must-buy. Yeah, it's a must-buy, and it's no wonder why the two games got re-released on a GOG and Steam. So yeah, things were looking strong for BloodRayne. But that was to stop in 2005, where one movie ruined its entire reputation, and we wouldn't get a game in the BloodRayne series released until 2011. Tune in to the next part where we will be taking a look at BloodRayne Betrayal. And tune in to October 28th to see the finale. See you around, my blood-sucking friends. Batman's arch-nemesis is the Joker, but my arch-nemesis is the YouTube algorithm. Smaller channels are being attacked and put at risk because of the viewer-based algorithm that YouTube has. And yes, the Racer Simmer Productions YouTube channel will be needing every ounce of support from you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to see when new Racer Simmer Productions videos are being posted. And together, we can help defeat the algorithm and drive it away from the Racer Simmer Productions YouTube channel. And yes, every subscriber count matters, because it means you are really awesome and you support me through the difficult time on being on YouTube. Yeah, it means you really support me during these difficult times. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time.